Hi, guys. Sorry I'm a little late. Thanks for being here again today. For everybody, I hope did our soccer coach get a chance to be here today? Good. Yeah, and I know you will, but I hope you give that group as much recognition and radio time and ink as you can possibly give them. That's quite a season they just had. So congratulations to Coach and to his team on what they accomplished. And yeah, as far as our guys, yesterday was all over the place and a great thing to have happen. I talked about that a lot after the game to be able to have the first half we did. I wasn't sure how we would play based on what we had done in practice and based on our game at Wisconsin. That first half was the best that we had practiced or played to this point, so that was good to see. Defensively, they've got a very good basketball team. They're averaging, close to 80 or I think around 80 with their team last year and where they would like to be with what they do in terms of pushing the ball in transition, how they attack you in the half court. So to have a half where they have 23 points after 2 nights earlier they had gotten to 40 or 41 against Creighton on their in that exhibition game, I thought the guys really did a nice job. We only had one possession in the first half where we didn't defensive rebound. They had 3 offensive rebounds on the same possession. That was either 2 or 3 plays into the game. For the rest of the half, we rebounded it pretty good. And then, the second half, just good to see a lot of those things happen. You'd rather not give up a lead, and we made plenty of mistakes. But it also gives us an opportunity to look at it and to make some improvements and get ready for Friday, which is what the last 10 days, of course, is all about. So a lot of good experiences for our guys, lots of work to do. With that, I would take your questions.
Coach Spencer said post-game yesterday that he thought when you guys went down to North Carolina last year, the team went down with some nerves, but he said he feels like that will be different this year. Just kind of what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think last year we went down there, Jeremy would have had a lot of experience. Wyatt did not play in the game. Clinton Bennett would have had a lot of experience. So probably 3 guys that had played in a game of that, that magnitude, or played against North Carolina the year before. As we know, last year we had, I think it was 11 first-year guys, and I think 7 or 8 of those guys played in games. So that part of it would be different for when you ask Spencer. That's the first time he'd done that. So for him and Isaiah and Jawan and Luke, a number of those guys, at least it's the second time around for those guys, and that helps them. You're just a little bit more comfortable. You've got a little bit more confidence. And obviously now they've been in a different role this year in terms of practice and in the games the 3 games we played last week, their role is different than it was a year ago, so they're getting more reps and they're more a part of what's going on. So those things all, they do make a difference and they do help.
Sort of like a tough decision that comes in front of you as far as whether you want Spencer on the ball or off the ball, considering just how well he looked yesterday with a lot of that as far as what I remember being off the ball.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think those things take care of themselves. As we each year when you get started, some years you've got a bunch of your guys back and your rotation is a little more set than what it was a year ago for us and what it is this year. So we're learning about that, but those things, in my experience, they end up taking care of themselves based on how guys practice, based on how they improve from practice to practice, or from maybe 4 or 5 days of work to the next 4 or 5 days, the improvement that they're able to make, and then based on how productive they are. That at the end of the day is going to impact your role. It's going to impact where you're at in the rotation. You've got to be able to compete. You've got to be able to make improvements, and you've got to be productive. And Spencer obviously was doing a lot of those things yesterday. So in terms of making decisions, that I've never looked at it that way. It sorts itself out based on performance and based on being able to make adjustments, based on being able to make improvements, based on your ability to be competitive, based on your ability to be productive. That's how it gets sorted out. And then the good thing with Spencer in terms of he can play both spots. So we feel good about him and Jawan being on the floor together. we feel good about Spencer being at the point with, say, Isaiah and Ty, as it looks right now. Some other guys that are working hard to get into that rotation. When Wyatt does get back, we feel good about being able to play Spencer at both spots.